Hello, and welcome to my channel today. Um, I'm going to speak to um, the fear of the unknown and how to overcome it. I started my video today, and I know that I'm right on target because I'm out here and the Blue Jays started calling, and I got a honeybee that's all walking all over my camera and trying to scare me and all these other things. So it's just nature, and when you try to make a video, I mean everything goes crazy. So I'm just going to go ahead and go with it. Um, what I'd like to speak to is my uh, my life and how I started out being afraid of the dark. And so when I was a young boy, we would go to my grandmother's house in the summertime, and I always liked to stay up late and do all kinds of things, and they wanted me to go to sleep, and they would always try to scare me so that I would get in the bed under the covers, and my grandmother would always tell me about the old hoot owl. She'd say, "Oh, the old hoot owl's going to get you if you don't go to bed." And man, it's like, you know, they would come up with all kinds of things like that, and it's like, oh yeah, I was scared, all right. So I would hunker down in the bed, and I'd go to sleep. And then my sister, I had two older sisters, and that was back during the 50s and early 60s, and they liked to tell me scary stories all the time and make things to be scary. I remember one of the stories was about this lady that came back from the dead. She had this golden arm made because she only had one arm. She had a golden arm made, and somebody stole it, and she would haunt them, and she would always say, "Give me back my golden arm." And then at the end they would jump at you and scare you like that. And so it was really a scary thing back then. We always had scary stuff, and they had Ouija boards and all the stuff that we had back in the 50s and early 60s there. And so it just being frightened or scared was just a part of the being a kid back then. So it's like when I was a little bit older, teenagers or whatever, sometimes I'd visit my friends out in the country, and it would be very dark and scary out there, and we'd walk places and we'd go, and so it's like then we knew that we had to get home to their house, and so we'd be hurrying, but sometimes it'd get dark on us, and so we would act like, we would all act like that we weren't afraid, which all of us were. I could tell that they were afraid, but nobody would say that. They just acted like, oh, this doesn't bother me, and so we'd always make it back to their house, but we were always afraid of the dark. And back in the what was really scary back in the 50s and the 60s, early 60s, that we used to have scary movies, and I was always terrified of Frankenstein and the werewolf, Wolfman. Oh man, that I just thinking about him jumping out at you at night. It's like, oh man. And Dracula. Oh, he was scary. Come to your bed at night, and don't leave the windows open because he'll get you. And so those movies were real scary. But the reason that they were scary is they triggered your imagination. You didn't see a lot of gore and guts and all that stuff, but it was super scary because you were using your imagination, and that can really go places that it's a lot more scary than the slasher movies today. And so in the when I was a little older, in the 90s, I bought 15 acres out in the national forest, and my plan was to build me a rock cabin out there, and because I love being out in the woods. And so I bought the 15 acres, and I built I built the stone cabin. The two sides of it were solid stone all the way up, and then the front and the back had stone in it, but it wasn't all stone. And so anyway, I used to like to go out there, and but I would always be, once I got the cabin all finished and all that stuff, I would like to go down there and spend time, and then, but I would always make sure that I would leave before dark, because it was pretty spooky down here. And so I'm looking at my notes here. I couldn't remember all this stuff if I didn't have some bullet points. And so this place that I had, it was a very lonely place. I mean, it was at the corner of three different counties, and it was way out there, and you would never see any police or anything like that. I mean, it was totally out there. And the one thing about it was, when you were out there and it got dark, and I didn't carry flashlights and stuff around with me. I guess I should have, but anyway, when it got dark out there, you couldn't see your hand in front of your face. And so, and it was just, you really knew that, there was nobody around to help if something happened. I mean, you were out there, so it was really scary as far as that goes. And I wanted to say a little bit about this place. It had a eerie feeling about it, especially in the night or twilight, stuff like that. But there was a road that ran along one side of it, and this road happened to be one of the legs of the Trail of Tears. And so the Indians were forced to march, and a lot of them died and stuff. And so it was just kind of spooky to think about all the people that had traveled through there and how many people died, and all the spooky things that go along with that. So I just knew that I tried to be brave. I'm a big guy, and and all that, but in the bottom of my heart, I was still afraid of the dark, and afraid of the unknown, and what could be out there, and was I prepared to take it on? I've had a lot of dealings with spiritual things in my life, and it's like, it can get, especially if you're all by yourself and everything, it can get kind of spooky. So I determined one day that I was tired of being scared. I was tired of being afraid of the dark. So I determined in my heart that I would just stay out there. I would force myself to stay late. And, once it got dark, I had no choice but to just endure it. And so here I am, forcing myself to stay down there in the dark. And boy, I tell you, at first it was really hard, because it was one of those really spooky things. But I found out that over time, I started to really enjoy it, enjoy the dark and the solitude out there. And sometimes I found that when the moon was full, that it was, once your eyes got used to it, it's very light out there. I used to take walks in the dark, in the moonlight, and just be part of the forest, just enjoy being part of nature. And so gradually over time, I just got to embrace this darkness, and my fear started to go. So, and sometimes I like to take something down there to eat, usually a hunk of meat or some kind of steak or whatever. And I would dig a pit, and I had this old grill off of Massey Ferguson tractor, and I would throw that on top of it, and then I would throw my meat on top of there, and I would cook it up, and man, that was so good out there in the woods like that. And as soon as I would start cooking that, man, hear all the coyotes, man, they would start in. They were just yipping, because they knew that I would be gone at some point, and they could come out and check it out and see if I left anything out there for them. And so, and the other thing was, out there in the woods like that, there was lots of hills and stuff, so there was a lot of echoing sounds and things, and there was lots of hoot owls out there, and the same hoot owls that my grandma used to scare me about. And so I would listen to them and stuff, and I got pretty good at calling back. I could call these hoot owls in, and they would get closer, and it was just like a kind of game for me. It was like I was enjoying myself. And so, but you know, just talking about being afraid, there in 2 Timothy, God says that He hasn't given us a spirit of fear. And that's the one thing that we have to keep in mind, especially if we're a child of God, that God doesn't give us that fear. The enemy gives us that fear because he thrives on fear. And so we just have to think to ourselves that God hasn't given me a spirit of fear. Where's this coming from? And so you can just kind of put it out of your mind at that point. And I would like to say just a short little tidbit about I heard about this famous actress. Her name was Susan Oliver. You know her face if you're very old, and she used to be on Andy Mayberry episodes once in a while, and I guess one of her famous episodes was when she was on Star Trek. She was the green woman. She was all green from head to toe. But she always was a very good actress. But her story was that she was on a plane one time and it almost crashed. And she was just deadly afraid of planes. She couldn't even make herself get on a plane to go somewhere. And so anyway, she decided that she wasn't going to let her fear take over. So she got her some lessons in a plane, and she learned how to fly. In fact, she became a famous pilot, and and she died of cancer, I think. But she overcame her fear by confronting the thing that she was scared of, and I think that's usually the best way to do it. I guess that's kind of like the moral of the story here. If you have a fear of something, you just have to make up your mind. Well, there's really no reason for me to fear because God hasn't given me that spirit of fear. So you just confront your fears in a way that you can overcome them. And so, anyway, I would just like to say here at the end that if you got anything out of this little story, I hope that you'll subscribe and like and comment and even share this video with somebody that might enjoy it, because I'm just starting out here at the bottom, and it's hard to get people to comment, and it's hard to get people to subscribe or like. I'm on my last video, I got a few more likes than I have been getting, and that's an encouragement. That makes me want to get out here and do more. And if you all start subscribing, and I feel it's worth my time to do all this, I would be happy to do a lot more videos, and I hope that you enjoy it. I try to do the best I can to make it meaningful and to make it a little entertaining. I don't want to be just a talking head or whatever, but I'm just sitting out here today. I'm doing the porch thing again because the weather has been so bad, and I have a lot of things going on in my life, and it's hard for me to get away because of all the medical things that I'm going through and my brother-in-law are going through. And so it's like a constant thing at this point. But if you could just give me a like. And so I guess I will see y'all later. Bye.